Hello everyone, my name is Päivi Rauramo and I work as a specialist in the Center for Occupational Safety, Helsinki, Finland. And I'm going to present Occupational Health and Safety Start Package for new representatives and managers. First, a few words about our organization, the Center for Occupational Safety. It's an organization administered by the Finnish labour market organizations, both employer unions and employee unions. It's founded 1970, so we have now our 50 years anniversary. The center is funded mainly by accident insurance premiums, and we are 37 persons working. We offer occupational health and safety training, publications and information, also advice and consultation related to occupational health and safety and well-being at work. We keep the register of occupational safety personnel in Finland, and we also provide well-being at work services, and then we administrate the occupational safety card and the well-being at work card training systems. And here you can see the topics of this presentation. I'm going to try to answer these following questions: what occupational health and safety cooperation is about, how it should be organized, why is it important, and what are the main responsibilities and roles of the different actors. And in the end, we will talk about what could be the next step. You can write questions and comments to the chat system, and in the end of this presentation I will answer the questions, and if new questions occur or if I don't have time to answer all the questions you pose, you can also send questions to me by email, and you will see my email address in the last slide. And also you can find my contact information on our website, ttk.fi. Let's start by defining the topic occupational health and safety challenges in the working life in Finland. We have the incidents and accidents that should be prevented. The most typical accidents are slipping, falling and sliding in every branch, and also at workplace and work traffic. Then we have the traditional health and safety hazards, for example, physical, chemical, biological hazards. Maybe most important or significant could be noise and indoor ventilation problems. Then unsuitable workload issues should be also noticed, both physical and psychosocial, and additionally cognitive workload issues. The most common reason for sickness, absences and early retirement are musculoskeletal diseases and mental problems, and depression the most common mental problem. So the workload is really maybe the number one challenge that should be somehow solved. Mobbing, bullying, inappropriate behavior and harassment are also significant or important factors when we talk about the topic occupational health and challenges. And last but not least, threat of violence is also an increasing problem, mostly inside the service sector branch. Here you can see the levels or the drivers of occupational health and safety promotion. Core is the law, the legislation that always should be followed, and in Finland we must follow Finnish legislation. Find all legislation at the internet. finlex.fi is the address. And also agreements, the collective labor agreements and the workplace specific agreements and rules must be followed. This is the solid foundation of occupational health and safety promotion. But as we know, working life changes fast and legislation very slowly. It's so important that we all are interested and follow the research related to this field and follow the recommendations that come from experts, specialists. And then it's important to share the best practices and learn from each other the practical solutions that we have found and carried out at the workplaces. But very important is also to remember and understand that values, ethical principles, and corporate responsibility increase the level much higher. There should be a very strong safety culture at the workplace so that everyone is committed, the top management, but also every worker is committed to safe practices and act with responsibility. Here you can see maybe the most important acts related to occupational health and safety. Above all is the Occupational Safety and Health Act, and this legislation can be found also in the internet. The translations, the unofficial translations, can be found at the internet, finlex.fi. Also, the Act on Cooperation in Undertakings is an important act, Occupational Healthcare Act, Working Hours Act, and then everyone should get to know the collective labor agreements related to your own branch. The main responsibility related to occupational health and safety lies on the employer's shoulders, and it is defined in the Occupational Health and Safety Act. So the employers are required to take care of the safety and health of their employees while they are at work and consider the circumstances related to work, working conditions and other aspects of the working environment, and also consider the employees' individual capacities. It is also the employer's obligation to design and choose the measures that are necessary for improving the working conditions and put them into practice. And these 4 principles must be observed as far as possible. Number one is the prevention. So it's the most important thing to remember is that we should always try to prevent the creation of hazards and risk factors. And if it's not, as often situation is that it's difficult to be aware of every risk, then there is a need to eliminate the hazards and risk factors, or if even that is not possible, try to select a less hazardous or harmful alternative. Also, one principle is to adopt safety measures which have a general impact before individual measures. And the 4th principle is that to take account of the technological development and other available means and ways to improve occupational health and safety. By the Occupational Health and Safety Act, the employers also shall continuously monitor the working environment, the state of the working community, and the safety of the work practices, and also monitor the impact of the measures that have been put into practice on safety and health at work. And thirdly, ensure that safety and health measures are taken into account in a reasonable manner in all the operations in the organization. So by the Occupational Health and Safety Act, continuous improvement is needed and required. First, there should be a proper assessment so that we know what the risks are, and then planning, implementing the plans and follow up. And this is a continuous improvement circle. Employers' responsibilities are continuing here. The main responsibilities related to Occupational Health and Safety Act. The employer shall or must take care of the occupational safety and health policy, and also analysis and assessment of the risks at work. And if there is a work that causes particular risk found in the analysis and assessment of the risks at work, only a person with adequate competence is allowed to do that work. So no one's life or health is allowed to put in danger. The employer's responsibility is also to take care of the instruction and guidance that should be provided for employees, and always consider occupational health and safety when designing the work environment and work and changes. Also, providing personal protective equipment, auxiliary equipment and other devices for use are responsibilities of the employer. And last but not least, cooperation between employers and employees is responsibility both for employer and employees. Here you can see a concept example of an occupational health and safety policy. What is usually included? So this was one of the requirements, obligations for the employer to provide this kind of policy and do it together in cooperation with the personnel, with the employees or the representatives of the employees. First, here you can see on the left general information, and then how occupational health and safety is included in company strategy and operations, like planning, investments, development, and orientation. Usually, description of the working environment and other conditions of workload is included. And then the assessment tools and objects. And then internal safety guidelines and rules related to occupational health and safety for specialized work, fire prevention, first aid, how it is organized, and if there is a need for violence and threat of violence guidelines, and working alone guidelines. Then on the right side is the description of the safety cooperation, how the responsibilities are divided, how cooperation is organized, the risk assessment, workability promotion, and safety training. And then occupational health care, the contact persons, and the content of the agreement, and the obligatory legal tasks. And then finally, the follow-up. This document or model or content should be always updated when any changes occur. And if there will be an inspection done by the authorities, they will ask for this policy, which shows how occupational health and safety is carried out and organized in your organization. Not only the employer, but also the employee, every worker has responsibilities and also rights by the Act of Occupational Health and Safety. Each and every one has to follow the orders and instructions given by the employer within his or her competence, and observe such order and cleanliness as well as care and caution that is necessary for maintaining safety and health necessitated by the work and working conditions. And also in accordance with the experience, instruction and guidance provided by the employer, and according to the occupational skills, take care of both their own and the other employees' safety and health. So this kind of collegial care is also needed and required. Everyone must also avoid such harassment and other inappropriate treatment of other employees at workplace which causes hazards or risks to their safety or health, and follow instructions and orders and use the required safety equipment. Everyone must also report risks and remove hazards as far as it is safe and possible. And it's not allowed to remove or switch off any protective equipment, instruction or warning signs without specific reasons. And then everyone has the right to refrain from potentially risky tasks if your life or health is in danger. No one has the obligation to do that kind of work. And then our next topic is the occupational safety organization based on the Act on Cooperation in Undertakings and also Occupational Health and Safety Act. This occupational safety organization is a specialist cooperative organization and supports the operations of the line organization, the working communities, supervisors and every worker. Each organization must have an occupational safety and health manager, an occupational safety and health representative, and 2 deputies must be selected when the organization has at least 10 employees. And Occupational Safety and Health Committee must be founded when the organization has at least 20 employees. But occupational safety cooperation must be carried out in every organization. If there is not a representative selected, then the cooperation must be carried out with the whole working community. And here are written the matters within the scope of occupational safety cooperation. And it always deals with matters concerning safety, health, and workability. First, physical, psychosocial workload factors, chemical, biological factors, structural safety of the workplace, and safety of machinery are included. The effects of work and workspace and organizational changes, different personnel arrangements, and machinery and equipment purchases on physical and psychosocial strain, and guidance and instructions. Also objectives and development plans related to health and safety and employee well-being, and measures supporting workability, such as the Occupational Safety and Health Policy and Occupational Health Care Action Plan. Additionally, issues that have emerged in the workplace risk assessment and in the workplace survey, and measures taken on the basis of this information. Then follow-up data describing the safety and health of the workplace, like sickness, absences, and different well-being services, or accident statistics, different measures taken on the basis of this information. Also, follow-up data include safety observations, incidents, occurred accidents, violent situations, and summary information concerning the sick leave. And finally, issues concerning the implementation of occupational health care and the objectives of occupational safety and health policy must also be handled in this cooperation. And now let's go to the duties of the different actors, and roles of the different actors in this occupational health and safety cooperation. And let's start with the safety manager. The safety manager's duty is to assist the employer and the supervisors in tasks related to occupational safety and health expertise and cooperation with employees, also occupational health care and safety authorities. The safety manager should be competent enough when considering the nature of the job and the size of the workplace. The riskier branch, the more competence is needed. The employer must make sure that the occupational safety manager is provided with adequate resources for the performance of his duties. The safety manager must be aware of the conditions at the workplace and also safety regulation of the workplace and participates in health and safety inspections. He or she takes care that occupational health and safety cooperation is organized in the workplace and participates in the Occupational Safety Committee meetings. He also enters occupational safety personnel in the Occupational Safety Personnel Register, which is kept by our organization, the Center for Occupational Safety. So it's important that occupational safety manager looks that the right persons are updated to this register. The occupational safety manager is not legally responsible for occupational health and safety in his role. The same person can act as an occupational safety manager for more than one workplace. So this role can also be outsourced. And then next, let's go to the duties, role and rights of the occupational safety representative. As I earlier said, a safety representative and 2 deputies must be selected in a workplace where there are 10 employees working regularly. And the role of the representative or duty is to be aware of the work environment, the workplace issues that affect on the safety and health of the employees, and also be aware of the occupational health and safety regulations. The person selected should encourage the other employees they represent to pay attention to occupational safety and health and to make proposal to improve safety, to be an active actor, encouraging also the employees to be active themselves. To convey employee level information about occupational safety and health issues to the employer is one of the tasks so that they can be handled in this occupational health and safety cooperation. The occupational safety representative is always a member of the Occupational Safety Committee when there is one at the workplace. He or she is not legally responsible for the occupational health and safety in the same way as the manager. The responsibility always lies within the line organization. The person selected is entitled to information concerning the safety and health of the workplace, work environment and work community. For example, the workplace risk assessment documents, the occupational health care agreement, and the occupational health care action plan. And the person has also the right to participate in health and safety inspections of the workplace and in other expert inspections if deemed necessary necessary by the inspector or expert. And let's continue these tasks and duties and role of the safety representative, who is also entitled to compensation for loss of income incurred as a result of performing the duties as a representative, and the compensation is calculated according to the salary of the representative would have earned in the regular work. The person also has increased protection against job termination and has the right to interrupt work that poses an immediate and serious risk to someone's life or health. And the representative must notify the employer or the representative of the interruption as soon as possible. The employer is required to provide the occupational safety representative and the deputies with the opportunity for training about matters concerning work safety regulations, guidelines, as well as in other matters related to occupational health and safety cooperation. And the training must not result in any costs or loss of income for the representative. The time allocated for the performance of the occupational safety representative duties reflects the number of employees they represent, the regional extent of the workplace, and the nature of the work. At a workplace with more than 10 permanent employees, the legally required minimum time allocation for the representative's duties is 4 hours over a period of 4 consecutive calendar weeks. But notice that also labour market organisations have agreed on time allocation of representatives in their own sectoral agreements. Then let's look at the main tasks of the Occupational Safety Committee, which must be rounded if there are 20 or more people working at the workplace regularly. The role of the Occupational Safety Committee is to make proposals for development regarding occupational safety and health to the employer, also monitoring the implementation of occupational safety and health policy on occupational health care and making proposals regarding to them. One main task is to make proposals concerning the organization of occupational health and safety training and also work guidance, orientation, and to participate in actions promoting the employees' working capacity or work ability. And here you can see the occupational healthcare services which are based on law. At first, there is the examinations of the healthiness and safety of working conditions that must be carried out. And the occupational health care plan is carried out after this examination. Also, examinations of health based on risks. If there is a health risk in any work, for example, night shift work, these obligatory health examinations must be carried out. Also, one of the occupational health care role is to provide instructions and advice related to health and safety and workability issues. And then additionally participate in the organization's first aid planning and workability promotion and support. And here you can see the layers of workability promotion. Workability promotion and work-related illness prevention should be prioritized, and it is organized to support the whole personnel. And the second level or layer is the early support activities for those having already problems or symptoms related to their workability. And the third layer is back to work support, how to support those that have had a long period of absence for a reason or another, make the comeback kind of safe and healthy and successful. Here I have concluded the occupational health and safety issues in a nutshell that you could consider maybe after this lecture or presentation. It is important that you try to find the occupational health and safety policy at your workplace and evaluate if it is complete enough and updated. You can compare the one you find with the one I showed you before in this presentation. Are there the most important topics included? Also, you should try to find the risk assessment. When has it been done? Is it updated and complete? And can you notice that the actions considered at the assessment also have been carried out and the risks managed in a proper level? Then it would be thirdly important to try to find the occupational healthcare service agreement and also see what is included there and if the workplace examination has been carried out. And depending on the findings on these three different parts, then it's important to see if the rules, guidelines, and the content of the orientation is updated and enough wide and deep related to the different findings and risks. By the Occupational Health and Safety Act, only the Occupational Health and Safety policy is required. And if the policy is practical enough, it's okay, but mostly or usually it is important to provide also a more concrete action plan for the ongoing period, so that it includes what the risks are and what has been done and what the next steps will be to take care of the different risks and problems that have been found. and also the action plan of the healthcare. It is important to evaluate if it is updated and done in a proper manner. We have an English web page which you can find on this address, and the most important content has been translated from Finnish to English. So one of the next steps could be that you look at this web page and try to find more information that you need from there. And then you can also contact me and maybe some other colleagues and ask for help that you might need in the future. We also provide training, work-specific training, also in English, and you can ask for an offer if you feel that you need training or coaching in the future. Now there is still plenty of time. We can have discussion if you like, or if you have any questions, then I can answer them now if I only can. Thank you. Are there any questions yet at the chat? No. Okay, do you have any questions in mind now? There you want to get answers, or thank you. Thank you for the thanking. Okay, no questions. And here you can see my email address. If you don't want to ask the questions in public, you can write an email to me, and then let's try to work out the problems you might have later together. Thank you so much for participating, and I wish you luck in your great position. Thank you. Bye-bye.